Are we live?
Miss April, can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. You still said it muted, so I was like, hold on, make sure he can hear me and I can hear him.
And you are live now.
All righty. Hey guys, happy Monday. Uh we're back. We're back after the sermon. It's the after party. We had a snow day yesterday, which was quite fun to say the least, I guess. The kids had fun with night, so we had to shift some things up and go live on online. So technology is our friend. We keep seeing that on and on. So when we have things that come up, whether related or whatever it is, we can always stay in touch and stay connected through Facebook, through our YouTube channel, Instagram, anywhere. So you can be able to find us at one accord. So, guys, yesterday's message from Pastor was fearless. And if you want to see something that's fearless, if you want to see some magic happen, just watch Pastor. I'm always amazed how this man never have any notes. He never has any notes. He will read the sermon, where he's coming from, the passage, and after that, it's straight on. So it's like watching him. It's like that's fearlessness. That's magic, all in its totality. So that's good. But Pastor, yesterday you talked about fearless, coming from Matthew 25, 23, and 24, and pretty much in a song, in a nutshell, what I got from that is, what are we doing with what God gave us? And so I wrote down a couple notes. It's like, for you guys, have you ever sat on an idea for so long, a dream or something that you were thinking about, and you were waiting for this perfect time? You was waiting for the perfect moment. Make sure you had the the money to fall into place, and certain things to fall into place, and certain timing to fall into place, and then you waited so long that out of nowhere somebody else executes your vision that you didn't tell anybody else, or even if you did share with somebody else, somebody goes and executes the very same idea that you wanted. And so could it be that God got tired of waiting on you, that he pretty much stated, hey, you're not going to do nothing with the gift that I gave you. I'm just going to shoot over to somebody else who already got their fire lit, who ain't worried about whether or not they have these particular resources, this people, or this type of fame or fortune. They just want to just do what God has told them to do. So so Pastor, I keep saying God. So Pastor, can you touch on what it's like, when people allow fear to stop them from going forward what they know God has told them specifically to do?
Yeah. Oh
How do
man,
they push past the fear?
yeah. No, I have a great example on that. Let me do something first, though, Miss April. Titan wants me to mention what is going on with Mike Todd, and I never shy away from difficult questions. I'm going to be honest. I have not looked at the video, and I have chosen to not look at the video. I see people
Mhm.
talking, but I but
Right.
sometimes wisdom is silent. I really do. Just because you feel like you know something, who deems you to have the right to say it?
Right.
But I will say this: I have learned long time ago that God does not need to defend himself. Okay, and if we wait long enough, everything
Mhm.
comes to the forefront with clear revelation if that's what we want. Now,
Right.
because Titan goes to the church, because I am his pastor, I'm going to go back and look at the video now. I will go back and look at it, but I will not speak on it until I look at it. So that's that. He has his calling, I have mine. Look, my hands full. Dealing with Terrell Monk is a full-time job. I don't
Okay.
have my time capacity. I got this gym opening up. We got this conference coming up. I got all kind of stuff going on. But anyway, so that's my answer. And I hope that's enough, Titan. and we'll talk about it later. But to your point, April, I'll say this. When I got a job at a configuration center, you guys know my story. It was by fate. I came in loading trucks, boxing and unboxing computers. And at the beginning of the day, I unboxed them. At the end of the day, I boxed them up and loaded them on the truck. But I saw a guy walk across the catwalk, and he had a notepad in his hand, and he had on a button-down shirt, and I said, what does he do? I want to do that. And from that day on, I put on my button down and I'm loading trucks with my button down on. I'm loading trucks with my polo on. Everybody's like, man, you out here trying to be fresh and we loading trucks. I said, that's because I'm not dressing for where I am. I'm dressed for where I'm about to go. And so I was locked in my mind that I wasn't going to be boxing and unboxing computers long. Well, somebody noticed me because I stood out. I looked different. I looked like I didn't belong, and a door opened up. I went to hardware. I went to software. And in a month and a half, I was the supervisor of the whole center. Now, here's the crazy part, though. That level of faith got me to be the supervisor of the whole center. But one day, I was sitting at home playing Madden, Miss April. And I was whooping folk. Couldn't nobody touch me. I was fine. And I worked at a configuration center, and they had these new things come out called an Ethernet. They were faster than a modem, and it was an Ethernet. And I said, man, it'll be so cool if we tried to figure out how to put an Ethernet into the Sony PlayStation so we could play across town. We don't even have to come to each other's house. And all the other managers was like, well, nobody's going to use an Ethernet for a video game. This is for serious stuff. This is for running business and corporations. And because I thought they were smarter than me, I put my idea to bed. And next thing you know, it is the biggest gaming industry it is. It's $1 billion business. But I let some people who I thought were smarter than me talk me out of my dream, even though my faith took me from boxing and unboxing computers to running the center. But check this out. That's why I got a revelation from that, where God says, take from the one who did nothing and give it to somebody who's going to do something with it. And I felt like he was talking to me. Throw Terrell out back where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth, because I cried to see those folk run off with my dream. And I was gnashing my teeth. I was jealous and mad. But you know what it did? It told me I will never pass up another opportunity again. So we think the weeping and gnashing of teeth is them going to hell or them being punished. No, he's going to allow you to see somebody else run off with your dream and see if you have the passion to get back up and don't give up on it no more. If it's in your heart, don't listen to people if you think they're smarter than you, cuter than you, more talented than you. God made all y'all. And if he gave you an idea, run with it before you be the one weeping and gnashing your teeth because somebody ran off with your dream.
You touched on that yesterday as far as the weeping and gnashing of teeth, and how you should look at that as an opportunity to see, to know that it's possible and not to create this jealousy. You touched on Sarah and Hagar and how Sarah didn't truly believe in what God had told her that she could do. She she thought she was out of time. She thought she was too old. She just thought that it was just too late. And for so long, she knew she was barren. She couldn't carry children, but she thought upon herself that I'm going to help God out. Like God needs help. I'm gonna help God out, and I'm gonna tell Hagar to go ahead and sleep with my husband so we can go ahead and finish what God has told us instead of just listening to what his specific instruction was just to believe. Can you touch on that as far as when you go outside of what God has told you to do and you create a different avenue or different road, or create a energy like that, and it takes it out the realm of what God was trying to create? And of course, he gonna bring it back home, but creating that realm created an opportunity where jealousy was brewed, where that spirit came from that was really negative, where it could have been an opportunity for Hagar to see, man, Sarah said this. God said this to Sarah, and now it's happening. What can he do for me and mine? Touch on that, how we can just make sure we stay in the spirit of opportunity and not jealousy.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you asked that, because I do want to bring a little clarity to that. I said it in the message, but I want to say it clearer now. With Sarah, God called her to do something that she'd already given up on. Because she even
Mm-hmm.
said it, I'm well past childbearing years. So sometimes God will call you to do something that you've already been disappointed in. He'll call you
Mm-hmm.
to love on people that have already disappointed you. He'll call you to try things that you failed in once before. Because, and this is what I didn't say yesterday that I wish I would have said, but faith doesn't even kick in until fear shows up. If you
Right.
can do it on your own, it's not faith. Something in
Mm-hmm.
you must say, not my will, but yours. And so, but to make it clear about Sarah's situation, no one is without fear. And I made this clear in the message yesterday. No one is without fear. But God just doesn't want us to make decisions based on our fear. You can have fear, but you have to make the decision in faith. That's what makes it a fearless decision. But since she
Mm-hmm.
feared, she was already past childbearing years and is already taking too long, she let her fear that she might not even get what God called her into.
Mm-hmm.
She probably was defending, God told me I was going to have a baby. And people was like, Sarah, it's your taking too long. You sure God said that? You sure you didn't have gas? That wasn't the spirit. You had gas. And so when people try to pressure us into saying, you said God was going to do this by now. You said
Mm-hmm.
God was going to send you your husband by now. You said God was going to give you your business by now. You got to keep waiting on God and not let the fear of people talking about you make you try to take a shortcut and then get your husband to put his baby in Hagar. And now Hagar has you weeping and gnashing teeth, jealous at her, but it ain't her fault. It was yours. Sometimes we get mad at people because they pressure us and say, if you would have just listened or if you wouldn't have did that. God said it's not about what they do. It's about you responding to me. Do you have that Noah kind of faith where it take you 40 years to build a boat and you still don't give up? See, it wasn't no microwave boats. You couldn't put the boat box in the microwave and put it on fire. No, you got to
Mm-hmm.
build it sweat by sweat, brick by brick, nail by nail, wood piece by wood piece. You got to build it. And even though people laugh and saying it's taking longer than it should, you should be married by now. You should have got a promotion by now.
Come on
And
now.
all the people you helping and doing graphics for, you should be a millionaire by now. You can't let people say what should be when God already said what is. I'm gonna go home.
Wait.
You can't let people tell you what should be when God already said what is. It is. Your isness has to catch up with his holiness. Hold on, hold on. His is
Bars.
has to catch up because not only is he preparing the place, he's preparing you for the place. So Sarah wasn't a bad person. She still gave birth to the promise, but she had a weak moment. In our weak moments, we can't let our fear get in the way of making a decision in faith. I'm going to give it back to you before I start preaching. I
Oh,
felt something on that one.
yeah. Cam has a great question. He said, "How do we respond when we have faith in a process, but still don't get the result we want?"
Okay, and he said the key word, the result we want.
Want exactly.
See, sometimes and Cam is my dude. I told him I want to wear Cam shirts one
I
day.
know,
I'm
right?
working on some stuff, but see, sometimes the result God wants at the time doesn't line up with you what you thought it should be. The vision He gave you is yet for an appointed time, and in the end, it will speak. He didn't ask you to speak for the vision. He said, just do this, all right? Do this. Because he told Abraham, I'm going to make you a father of many nations. He gave him one son. What? You said a father of many nations. All I got is one son. Now be patient, Abraham. Your dream going to outlive you, bro. Your dream going, I just want you to create the iPhone. They going to put a 4K camera in it later. I just want you to start the process. It may not be
Yes,
what
that
you
part.
wanted to be, but you're starting the process. It may be your son that come behind and finish it, Cam. It
Woo!
may be your daughter. It may be your grandchild. You may be sitting up in a rocking chair, old like me, saying, "Look at my son. He can finish what I."
Ah!
Go talk to Tyler for me. He's supposed to be finishing some stuff for me.
We here because I said that in my notes. I said God just needs you to believe. Do what you have the power to do and allow him to handle the rest in faith. And like you said, it's what we want. It makes me think about Job and how everybody was in his ear saying, "What did you do? You still waiting on God? You still after all that has been going on around him, everybody's thinking like he must have did something really wicked for God to do all this to him." And now he was like, "No, God got me.
Hey,
We
but
good."
and April, we've been walking a long time, and you know this. Even when me and my wife went through what we went through, I'm sure a lot of people were looking at me saying, "What did he do?" I know he did something. Now you can't tell me a woman that fine who love a man go just up and y'all went together no more. You did something, and I had to have a Job spirit and say, listen. In the end, God will vindicate me. I had no idea that he was working in both of us a far greater
Mm-hmm.
weight of glory. He said the struggles of this
Praise
present
God for
are
it.
not even worth comparing to the glory that shall be revealed. These light afflictions are but for a moment. These light afflictions are but for a moment, but they're working in us a far greater weight of glory. What if my wife went through what she went through and I went through what I went through so she can start her conference, Hello Gorgeous, and help a lot of women get delivered? What if? It was
Amen.
well worth it because the struggles of that present time ain't worthy to be compared with. Go to her page, look up Hello Gorgeous, get in the room, and you'll see the result of why we went through what we went through. I'm going home.
Shameless plug.
I'm beside myself today. I'm beside myself.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But man, that's it right there. And I think throughout the Bible we see that. We see that a lot, just light afflictions. What we think that may be so devastating, what's be so tormenting, it's really just an opportunity for God to show up. And we just need to look at things, like you mentioned before, as opportunities and not a moment to say, well, God, why they seem to have it so easy? Well, God, why did you do this? Why did you do that? This ain't nothing compared to what I got for you.
And look, when you hear that, Miss April, listen to this. Because I've been going through some afflictions and said, God, this ain't light. What you talking about? This thing ain't light. He said, it's light compared to when you see why you went through it. I know it don't
Mm-hmm.
feel light right now, but the greater the weight, the greater the glory. You got to understand that God called it light because he know what the blessing gonna look like. I'm sitting up, missing my babies. The court's telling me I ain't no good. I'm going through all of this, but he was working in both of us a far greater weight of glory, and it is beautiful in his eyes. But we will say, this ain't like God. What you talking about? God said, you don't know what I know. Just because you're uncomfortable for a moment, don't let your slight discomfort make you make decisions out of fear, and keep holding on to your faith.
Ooh, that's a
We gonna what they say, put a pin right there. Put a pin right there.
put a pin right there. Put a pin right there, man. That it makes me think about I can't by name. I don't know the Bible that well, but the woman who looked back,
Yeah, Lot's wife.
Lot's wife. How do we tie into that when she should have just trusted her husband? That was her husband, right? Her
Right.
husband to keep going forward, but she just had to look back. How
Yeah.
can we correlate that in fearlessness?
Yeah.
Because some of us always find ourselves looking back about, like you said, about what didn't happen, or we already tried this before. And God is actually just to do forward thinking, to just look past what didn't happen, what didn't work, who said this, who said that, and just keep your eyes on me. Just keep your eyes on me. If you, what if your life really depended on just keeping your eyes on God, just staying that drill, that focus, that zeroed in and just exactly what he wanted you to do, but something, whether it's, I don't know if it's a little angel on our shoulder or a little demon on our shoulder or somebody in our family or a circle, whatever, is telling us something to make us look back. How can we prevent that look back?
Listen, after you go through a few years and get a little age on you, and you go through a few Thanksgiving dinners, and you got a little meat on your bone, everybody look back and say, man, I wish I was fine as I was when I was 19. I wish I was fine as I was when I was 20. But you don't know the man of your dream that's going to sweep you off your feet needed somebody for cuddle season. So you looking back for what you thought was good, but God said your best days are ahead of you. And men go through this all the time. We get to a certain age and we think our best days are behind us. No, baby, I still got life to live. I still got things to create. I still got things to do. And you'll mess around and think that your better days are behind you. You know what I mean? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You'll mess around and think your better days are behind you, but if you're doing that, you're not realizing God still have you around for a reason. You still got things to do, and looking back, you can't accomplish what you got to do going forward. They say they got questions, April. They got questions.
Yeah, I see Lady Tiffany question. She said, why do we feel adversity is not a part of the journey, or we call it the devil and not the God processing us?
It's just like, I know we've said it, at the gym, when you going past your last mark and trying to stretch and do more today than you did yesterday, your muscles be like, that's the devil. But you don't know, you gotta go that far so your muscles can grow. So Lady Tiffany is absolutely right. Everything that's not going your way is not the devil. You know, but what can be the devil is the decisions you make because of it. If I'm at the gym and I'm working out and I quit, that decision is my devil. The weights ain't the devil. The weights are actually helping me. The weights are going to actually make me look the way I want to look. But my decision to quit will become the devil. So it's the weight itself is not the problem. It's the decision we make. That's the problem. We got to have the faith to say, it's hard, but I'm going to keep going. I'm tired, but I'm going to keep going. They laughing at me, but I'm going to keep going. And the faith has to say, I'm going to get the end that I envision and not let this temporary moment make me change my mind.
Do we have some more questions? You sure right about that.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, because, you know, some people watching might say, what's the answer? And as I got to the end of the message, when fear kicks in and you have an opportunity to act in faith, the solution is humility. The solution is to understand that you don't know everything. You're quitting because of what you think you know. You're leaning to your own understanding. So the solution is to lean not to your own understanding. And we talked about how Mary was in her spot where she found her man. She about to get married. And now God said, you finna have a baby. But she got scared for a minute. But faith said, be it unto me according to your word. See, that's the thing. She didn't say, be it unto me according to what I feel. Be it unto me according to what I understand. She said, be it unto me based on what you said. So I have to deny what I feel like is my knowledge and my understanding so I can take on his word. I mean, even Jesus did it. When Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, it's like, we at the point now, God, they got thorns, they got whips, they got all this stuff. Is it another way we can do it? And he said, but no matter how I feel, no matter the fear I'm feeling of the pain and what I'm about to go through, if there's not another way, not my will, but yours. So the solution when fear kicks in is to say, God, I trust you. I'm going to do it because it's what I prayed for. And I'm going to put some actions with my prayers. I'm going to do it because this is what you said. I'm giving you a chance to show yourself great in my life. I trust that you know more than me. I trust that you're more powerful than me. I trust that you're more capable than me. So when fear kicks in, humble yourself to God's possibility and not your understanding.
Yes. Lady Tiffany also mentioned, why do we demonize what we don't understand or agree? For example, you can be rich, you have overflow.
Oh, see, now that's the crazy thing because the Bible says we have to be ye transformed by the renewing of our mind. If you're used to being broke, broke is normal to you. And if you've seen rich people act unethically, somehow rich becomes an enemy to you. When the truth is, just like the Bible is a great tool, but Jim Jones used it to make them people drink the Kool-Aid. David Koresh used it and burned up them folk up in Waco, Texas. Does that make the Bible bad? No. So just because people have done some unjust things with money, it doesn't make money bad. And so if you really want to help people, you want your bills paid. You want your kids taken care of. So if God has given you an assignment, if God sent, just like our parents, and we said this yesterday, just like your parents, when you were a child, sent you to the store to get some bread, she made sure you had enough to complete your assignment. That's God. If he gives you an assignment, he wants to give you enough to complete your assignment. So if you've never been wealthy, you got to give yourself permission to be wealthy. If you've never lived in abundance, you can't say, oh, those people acting funny. Those people such and much. No, those people got what you want. Give yourself permission to try on. I did it myself. I have to give myself permission to go shopping. Because I'm like, man, I got these kids, I got a wife, I got bills at home, I don't need no new clothes. And God said, fool, how many people is gonna mess up if you out of style and wearing old clothes? You let stuff get in the way of your word. You better go shopping. You wanna become all things to all men so that you might gain some. Give yourself permission to go buy a couple of outfits, buy a couple of shoes, man. Are you saying that God, who created the heaven and the earth, can't afford no shoes? What are you saying? And so we have to retrain our thinking to the level. We'll say it. He owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. We'll say it that he gives us the ability to get wealth. But the truth is, are you willing to live it and be wealthy without feeling guilty? Because money is not evil. The love of money is what makes people do evil things. But if you got a definite plan of what you're going to do with the money, it's not evil. You got to give yourself permission to let God bring it into your life.
Absolutely right. That you said a whole mouthful, because a lot of us don't have. We think that we have to, I guess, this hustle mindset, this mentality. I know a lot of people say we're trying to dead that mentality because we feel like we have to hustle. You're not working hard if you're not sleeping. You're not working hard if you're not doing what other people may deem as extreme measures in order to attain a certain goal. And and sometimes it's not that route or that journey is not intended for you. It may have been intended for that person in that season, but not full-fledged all the time. And I'll say that personally for myself, I felt like, okay, I have to hustle, I have to hustle. But I have to be mindful that at some point God intended for me to enjoy the fruits of my labor. So let me relax in this season. Let me understand that, okay, it's okay to breathe. It's okay to relax and take it easy and know that God that did it in that season is the same God will do it in this season. He will do it for you just the way he intended, without you having to feel like you have to be stressed out or sweating or bleeding to get what God said that he will want you to have. So that's that fearlessness to get you, like you said, retrain your brain to not think that in order for me to attain a certain goal, that it must look like blood, sweat, and tears. Sometimes it can come with ease. Sometimes it can come with just having a relationship and a good communication with God, and just staying in the right circles and around the right atmospheres. It don't always have to be what everybody else's journey may be look like.
And I'll say this, in our community, we've normalized everything bad to make being black the lowest common denominator. We'll talk about, man, you remember we had to go next door and borrow bread? Man, shoot, we had it good. Man, that ain't good. You just normalize dysfunction. You shouldn't have to go next door to borrow a slice of bread. I know we did it. I know we made the best of it, but let's take pride in making our ancestors proud where we can own banks, we can own corporations, we can hire people, we can own TV stations. We can't make being black the lowest common denominator. Everybody sitting on the porch smoking weed with nappy head and ain't got no bank account. No, we much more than that, and we got to give ourselves permission to be more than that.
Okay, and one last question. What is the difference between safe faith and savage faith? And she wants us to provide some examples.
I think safe faith is doing just enough to say, see what God did when you really know it was you. See what God did? I walked across the room. Ain't God all right? See what I did? No, savage faith is, I believe this is needed, and I believe it's possible, and I believe it's possible for me, and I believe it's possible for me right now. And savage faith is those Hebrew boys that said, even if he doesn't do it, I know he's able. So I'm about to throw myself in the fire, and if I don't make it out, it wasn't because of God. He's able, but I just believe he gonna do it, so put me in the fire. So if you ain't ready for the fire, you ain't no savage yet. Woo!
Ooh.
Throw yourself in the fire.
If you ain't ready for the fire, you ain't savage enough yet.
Look, if you say you want that smoke, you better be ready, because the smoke
right. If you want all the smoke, hey, you're gonna have to step yourself in that fire.
It's coming.
Come on, a little simmer a little bit.
Yeah. It's coming.
All right, Pastor. Do you have anything else that you would like in closing for tonight's after the sermon, the after party?
Yeah. Now, I'll say this. I'll reiterate something I said earlier. It's God's assignment, not yours. You just accepted the assignment. And if it's his assignment, he'll give you the resources, the money, the connection, the relationship to fulfill the assignment. And if you do it well enough, he might tell you to keep the change, send you on some vacations, let you live a little bit. But it's his assignment, not yours. That's why you have to say, not my will, but yours be done. And that's all I got. Keep the change.
Keep the change. Keep the change. Well, guys, we thank you for tuning in for yet another after party special. Keep coming in every Monday evening at 6:30, where we have the opportunity to ask Pastor any question that we have on our hearts or our minds that kind of just spoke to us during his sermons on Sundays. So I know this Sunday we will have a guest pastor come in for us, and so we will tune in on the following Monday. And so we want to skip a break, but please stay tuned. We have so much more for you guys from One Accord, and we're so excited about what we're doing right now, especially with this after party. It's been so fruitful. We know that you guys are here listening, and we know that it's doing what it's supposed to be done. So guys, thank you. We will see you next week.